Hello.
Hello. It's Holly and Jim. We're back.
Back.
Yeah.
Back for some stupid shit.
We're still taking a bit of a break from our usual streaming schedule, but
Oh my god.
people wanted to see us do some more just chatting, so we are. And I know last week we did something a little bit weird with tier lists, and today there's going to be another tier list.
Yeah, I'm doing my own tier list of frogs.
But yeah, so the idea for this stream is that we kind of wanted to go away, spend a few days learning about something, and teach it to the other one. Or teach the other one about it.
Yes, and you're going to teach me about Cryptids.
Cryptids and... Cryptids... Basically, it's supposed to be cryptids, but Jim can't spell cryptids.
Just one second.
So I'm just going to talk about the budget version of cryptids.
I know, I could spell, I swear.
This is the Mothman. He's a man with wings.
Okay, just one sec. We're gonna transition over, but I'm just gonna move the mic slightly, okay? One sec. Okay, so now yeah, it's you wanted to let people know about the September
I
giveaway.
kind of wanted to sort of, as a bit of an intro, just talk for a moment about stuff that's coming up with the channel. It is still September and we're still doing this giveaway. We're one more subscriber away from having another big prize added. The big prize includes things that I've made myself. So if you want some special little keychain charms and paw print fridge magnets, specially made for you in our logo colours, that's what big prize is, and 3 people will get the little prize.
Nice. Okay.
I'm doing this throughout September.
Is there anything else you want to say about that?
That's mainly what I want to say. If you want more information on this, it is up on our not Facebook, our Twitter page.
Yes.
If you go look at the links below and you go to our Twitter, you'll see it.
Do you have a Facebook?
We have a page set up, but we don't ever use it.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
We set it up for something and turned up we couldn't use it for that thing, so
Oh yeah, that sucked.
yeah, that really did suck.
Okay.
Okay.
But you also wanted to let people know about this.
Yeah,
the
other things coming up with
tournament.
the channel is that we have we have another tournament arc stream planned for next month.
We're still doing the
we're
anti-heroes one.
Yes.
I'm promising it's gonna go.
Great. This is just the current lineup for the fan tourney that we've been promoting for a little while.
Yeah, we've got 4.
4 people have submitted fighters so far. So this is the range. If you want to submit anything to that, it is bits or a donation. And we will start researching that when we have like the full 8 slots filled.
Yeah, so far it's a pretty weird mix, and pretty varied power level.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how I'm expecting it to be. It's going to be quite funny.
Yes.
Is there anything else happening with the channel that we want to talk about? I should be going back to Bloodborne next week, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Once I've taken the time to chill
Also,
and calm down.
I would like to establish that we realize that the recent streams have been kind of bad and slow. I've figured out what that was, so it shouldn't keep happening.
Okay, yeah, we've got that fixed. So I kind of don't want to jump right into it straight away. I kind of want to wait for a couple minutes before jumping into discussions.
I mean, aren't you going to tell me about the Cryptids?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you about the beat the Cryptids. and it's just like, yeah, the you know, like you get dollar store like Superman figurine. It's a special man. It's like
special man. It's very special.
Yes. So it's one of my favourite weird bootleg images on the internet. I don't know why I find it funny.
I don't. You're gonna have to show me.
Yeah.
I guess.
So we've only been talking for a couple of minutes, and I kind of don't want to just jump right into discussion.
I mean, apparently we've been streaming for. Oh wait, yeah.
Well, yeah, because we went like a top of the hour ago.
I just remembered.
Like early. But yeah, so paranormal stuff is something I've been interested in for quite a long time. Especially cryptids and cryptozoology, which is creatures that are unconfirmed by science. And you get three things that tend to fall into this category. There's creatures believed to be extinct that may not be, such as thylacine. There's creatures existing in areas where they shouldn't, such as those big cats you keep seeing in the UK. And things that are sort of typically considered more ridiculous monstery, which are the famous ones like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and all that. One thing I think is interesting about cryptozoology is that sometimes it's just interesting folklore and legends, but sometimes, like, there are creatures that we know exist today, like the coelacanth that people didn't think still existed.
Oh yeah,
the early descriptions of kangaroos were absolutely ridiculous, and you wouldn't think that's a real creature until you see, oh yeah, it's a kangaroo. Like, I think some cryptids may be similar in that we're giving a ridiculous description to what will end up being just a normal animal.
Sorry, just what you're talking about is really cool, but I just want to interject with, have you seen that video of the dude punching a kangaroo in the face?
Which video? Like, I'm sure I've seen something similar.
Well, the kangaroo seemed to have, like, stolen his dog.
Oh yeah. I think I have seen the side of the road, isn't it?
It was just, like, holding his dog, and the dog was just, like, immobile.
Yeah.
And then this guy just runs up to him like, that's my dog!
It's like the original...
Just Australian and
So, yeah,
balls of steel.
The earliest description of kangaroos was like, oh yeah, so there's a creature that looks like a deer, but it moves like a frog, and sometimes it has two heads. And it's like, that sounds like a ridiculous thing that couldn't exist until you see, oh, kangaroo.
Yeah.
But, you know, because back then people couldn't just take a photo and show you the kangaroo.
Although, can I say that the two heads thing, I'm going to be honest.
That's the baby in the pouch.
other things, sure, it looks kind of like a deer. I can see that. And I can see how it moves like a frog, sure. But the two heads thing, nah, those guys are being dumb.
No, it's because it has the baby. It has the baby in its pouch.
I know.
It looks like it has a second head on its stomach.
But no, it doesn't. It doesn't look like that.
Hello, Bandit!
Hello, Bandit.
Hello!
I was just saying how it's stupid to say that kangaroos look like they have two heads. It's obviously its baby.
Well, if you've not encountered a marsupial before, don't know what...
Well, I thought they would have, right?
I don't know, this is people
you don't know about, like, otters.
Otters aren't marsupials.
Wait, what the hell's marsupial? Like,
the marsupials are the creatures that hold the young in a pouch in the belly, like possums, which are in America.
Possums, okay.
You know, a lot of marsupials are things like koalas that also live in Australia.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I would have thought they might have met a marsupial before, but I guess not.
Yeah. But not all of them have the baby sticking its head out like that.
But yes,
Yeah.
Bandit, I'm glad you're here.
You glad you're here, yes. So that's a bit of a preamble on cryptids and cryptozoology. So the purpose of this stream is that I'm going to teach Jim about... Yeah.
Conjoined twins. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to...
What, you're going to teach me about?
I'm going to teach you about a couple of cryptids. One I'm going to go into more detail about.
Okay.
So this is a very interesting historical cryptid.
You want me to show the pictures?
So this is the Beast of Yeverdon. You're gonna hear me say a lot of French names very badly. Sorry, I need a bigger light.
Oh, okay, she can't read.
My notes are written in red. But this thing is interesting because it has a body count of over 100 people. At least 100 people. So this was a real creature.
Well, it's definitely...
Yeah, there was something real here.
There was
That's why I
definitely
like
something that was definitely killing people.
Yes. So this is interesting. So a little bit of background information is... So this all sort of took place between 1764 and 1767. In France, this was... The 7 Years' War had just ended.
Okay.
This is a long time after the 100 Years' War, but not quite the French Revolution.
Okay, right.
And this thing is fascinating because it influenced a lot of modern day werewolf beliefs as well. It's a very early mass media, mass hysteria story as well.
Okay.
So I was going to actually sort of go and organise my notes into some sort of order.
The pictures here it looks kind of wolf-like, but not quite.
So shall I start with the descriptions that people gave of this thing?
Yeah, go on.
So descriptions of the creature often describe something. The first description was that it was like a wolf, but not a wolf.
Okay, that's well.
Yeah, which is kind of strange. About as large as a calf or a horse, so it's a pretty big thing. Had red-brown fur, sometimes described as having a back that like a stripe down its back, like a dark stripe on it.
Ah.
And yeah, the tail was sort of more big cat-like than canine, than like a wolf. And it sort of ambushed and stalked people it attacked. It would often eat off limbs.
Jeez. I mean, this is the 18th century.
Yeah, and some descriptions say it had talon-looking feet.
Yeah, okay, which is not like the paws of a wolf, really.
No, which is not quite. Yeah, which is kind of strange.
Okay.
Most active in the evenings and the mornings. So I'll go right back to the beginning.
Can I just ask something here?
Yeah.
So, two of these images, it's like... hello, Leo.
Hi, Leo. We're learning about weird history.
So two of these images, it's just stood somewhere, right? And somebody's depicted it. But one of these, it's on auction.
That is the version... So I'll get onto that later, because a couple of people did try and hunt the beast. And there were 2 times when they thought they killed it. And that's from, I think, the first time somebody shot what they thought was the creature. The body was stuffed, and it was actually sold to the royal court.
Okay. Well,
however, that body has actually been lost. I was trying to see if that was still in a museum somewhere. It isn't.
Oh, that'd be weird, because
I'll get into that more later.
The fact that it was stuffed, it could have been preserved to modern day, but it's now missing.
It's in the process of it going from somewhere to somewhere. It was lost a while ago.
Yeah, that's really weird.
So, right back in the beginning, this thing first appeared... its first believed kill was June 30th, 1764. It was a young woman who was tending cattle.
Okay. Classic.
Yeah, she was sort of tending cattle or sheep, and got attacked by this thing.
I'm actually gonna get rid of the music because it's actually annoying.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go get the more. I do have more detail on that. Finding where that is.
First attack. Did it attack this woman who was...
First victim was called Jean Boulet. She was 14. She was watching sheep. She was the first one that it actually killed. Okay. 2 months before the first kill, there was another young woman who was out tending cattle and claimed that she was attacked by something that was like a wolf but not a wolf, and her cattle were able to scare it off.
Her cattle were able to?
Yeah, it's cows.
Okay.
I mean, cows are pretty big and frightening.
That's not the first thing I thought of.
It's interesting because there are some varying descriptions of this thing being chased off by cattle and sometimes not, which is interesting. So its body count included men, women, and children. This thing did not discriminate; it just killed everything. Okay. And it was often little people from little French peasantry villages. They'd go out alone, or they'd be like tending their fields, and this thing would come up and stalk them and kill them.
I can't help but be reminded of like Beauty and the Beast,
Mm-hmm.
just because they're both French and this big beast creature. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that a strange comparison?
No, I can kind of get that. So yeah, this thing killed so many people that King Louis the 15th actually sent hunters after it and put a bounty on it.
All right.
It's it was like 6,000 livres for killing this thing.
Okay.
That was like the equivalent of like a whole year's salary back in those days.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So yeah, the beast hunts. We're talking about beast hunting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there we go. We're beastie hunting.
The king was like, a hunter must hunt.
Yes. So yeah, so many bounties were placed on this thing.
You got 6,000 echoes for it.
Yeah, you get a lot of echoes for killing this thing. It's the final boss of France born.
Okay.
So, some of the people who went after this thing professionally was Francois Antoine. He was 71 years old. He was the king's official gun bearer. He's the guy in that image who shot the beast and had the body stuffed.
All right.
And they thought that was the end. The thing that they described as the beast was a very big wolf.
Okay.
That is what that's officially described as being. But because we don't have the stuffed body anymore, we can't really entirely confirm that.
Yeah.
Because there was another creature that was also killed that was apparently the same thing, but that one wasn't stuffed. So if we had that, we still knew where that thing was.
That would imply that there was actually more than one.
Yeah, so you can say, because yeah, they killed it, had it stuffed, and they thought that's it dead. But no, the huntings and killings continued. Peasants were still saying they were being attacked and killed by the same creature.
Huh. So big wolf pussy shit, basically.
Yeah, guy called. My notes were all over the place. A guy called Jean Baptiste Duhamel was a military guy. He was one of the first ones, I think, who went after it. Led a very big hunt for the beast.
Okay.
Sort of had a sort of volunteer team of the local farmers to try and go for it. They'd even try and bait it by dressing up as like a little peasant woman and sitting in the field. Don't know why they thought it would go for that when it's attacking men, women, and children anyway.
That almost implies that they thought it was like smart.
Maybe, because there are theories about what this thing was, including that it was a werewolf or it was a human.
Okay. That's...
Yeah, I'll get onto the theories in a bit. Another guy was known as General, I think. He was an expert hunter.
Damn French name.
Yeah, he was the Royal Wolf Catcher.
He was the Royal Wolf Catcher.
He had a big team of bloodhounds, and they sent him to go after the beast. And he couldn't kill it. And the final guy that actually did kill it, people believe, was in 1767, a guy called Jean Chastel. He shot it with a silver bullet, apparently.
Huh.
And the attack stopped after that one was killed. That was also officially described as a large wolf.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of the legend. I mean, I don't think we have confirmation about what type of bullet it was that actually he shot this thing with, but the legend, what people say at the time, is silver bullet. So that's where.
Huh. And that's where the idea, I guess, of silver bullets killing werewolves comes from.
Yeah, because
most likely.
Look, yeah. Hi, Leo. So yeah, some other times of people fighting off the beast that I think were interesting and notable is a group of children actually claimed to have fought it off with sticks. A kid called Jacques Fortifax, or Fortifay, was a 12-year-old kid who got rewarded by the king for chasing this thing off. The king paid for this kid's education.
I gotta be honest, that doesn't look very good on this creature's resume.
Yeah, it's really strange because there are some reports of it being chased off by sticks, being chased off by cattle, and then other times of it just not being chased off by anything.
It just murders people.
Yeah. And there's also...
Maybe it sounds kind of like an ambush predator.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, because there's also another lady I was going to mention who... Yeah, there's a lady called Marie-Jeanne Vallée.
There's a lot of Jeans here.
Yeah, fought off the beast with a bayonet on a pole. She became known as the Maiden of Gévaudan, and there's actually a statue of her in Orvers, France today, which I think is pretty neat. So, yeah, getting on to what this thing could have been is there were quite a lot of theories. So, one is that it really was just a Eurasian wolf or a red wolf.
Okay.
Because it would match the colour and the sort of size. But at the same time...
It seems strange that people would say it's not a wolf.
Yes, because it's like... There is a theory that it was a wolf, but these people would have known what wolves were, because wolves lived in that area and did attack people.
Yeah.
I mean, so why not just say I got attacked by a big wolf? There's some theories that this was a trained dog wearing armour, because it would sometimes shake off bullets, apparently. Like, there are some people who claim that, like, they'd shot at it, seen it fall over, but then seen it get up again and run off.
Right, that's pretty weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how strong those guns were, though.
Well, yeah, 18th century guns, they're not on the same kind of level as our modern guns, but usually if you get shot by one, you're going to be dead as a human.
Yeah.
It's like bears could shrug off bullets.
Yeah. So there were some plausible theories that this was a hyena, because at the time, this is medieval France, the rich nobility would have had personal menageries. You know, when rich people essentially have like a private zoo, so they import exotic animals and keep them.
Okay.
To sort of show off, look, the king has lions.
Yeah.
So it's like...
But instead this was like, I want a hyena.
There's two theories. One is that this was a hyena, because that would match the ambush prey, the looking kind of like a wolf but not. It also, you know, the tail looks quite feline.
Yeah.
It also apparently sometimes made a bit of a laughing sound. And people at the time would have had no idea what a hyena was.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine if you don't know what a hyena is, and you see this creature that looks kind of wolf-like, and then just laughs, that's got to be terrifying.
Yeah. And also, there was a striped hyena shot in France around that time. It isn't
confirmed.
Yes. It isn't what stopped the killings from this thing. But some people think, like, well, if there was already a hyena out there that could have been attacking people that some people shot, that could have attributed to some of these claims. And it's not unfeasible that this is another hyena.
Well, yeah, there could have been more than one. So,
yeah. And if you're the rich person who owns a hyena that escaped, and it's killing absolutely everybody, and it's a big media panic everywhere, you don't look good if you admit that your hyena got away.
And then you're just like, my royal wolf hunter, please go kill the thing.
Yeah. There's also some idea that it was an adolescent lion. Because at the time, people wouldn't have known what lions looked like except for drawings. And an adolescent male lion, or a lioness even, doesn't have the mane.
Sure.
So if you saw that, and...
the only thing about that is that I think they look less like wolves than hyenas do.
Yes, it's just, but if a wolf is like the only sort of big predator that you've seen, and you don't know how to describe a lion... Cub doesn't look anything like a wolf, though. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I was saying.
That's why that one's a bit strange, but it's like, maybe wolf is literally the only thing these people had to compare that to. And it's not quite a cub, but like an adolescent one.
Actually, that's
like a
good
juvenile.
Point. Did they not have like regular cats? Couldn't they have said it looked like a giant cat?
I'm not sure, maybe. Yeah, that's one that goes around. I think that's partially because of things like the colour and also the way this thing's tail was described. It was also described as being pretty big. I'm not sure how big an adolescent lion is compared to a horse. And
what about other big cats, like say a panther?
That wouldn't match the colouring description, because it's very consistently described as being sort of reddish brown with like a stripe.
I guess hyenas kind of are like a reddish
Yeah. Dead cats. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the lion theory is a bit of an odd one. Some people think it could be a human serial killer with a trained attack dog.
Bit weird.
That's a bit of a weird one. I think that's partially because, like, this thing was going attacking people. But there were some supposed victims found without a head.
Hmm.
So the thing with this is it could sort of... I think there's some suggestion that this was partially a mass hysteria event and not all of these killings were coming from this one creature.
You know, I think that's probably almost certain.
Yeah, because, like, wolf attacks happened, and it's like, well, what if one or two people saw, like, an escaped hyena or something attack them, and then because suddenly all this news is going out about this horrible beast, people are attributing, like, every wolf attack to it, every killing to it.
Hmm.
Because it's like over 100. It's like over 100 is like pretty big for one thing to be doing.
Yeah, it seems unlikely, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like, I know the description of... Well, I know, like, when I was looking at the numbers of wolf attacks in the area are quite
You have
high.
Another depiction here.
Yeah, do you want
mind
to
if I
swap
just
over
show
that? This is
one as
another
well?
one. Maybe it is often drawn looking very canine.
Yeah.
I mean, there are more outlandish theories. Like, there are people saying it's a werewolf, of course. Some really out there ones like, oh, what if this was a direwolf or a hyenodon? But those have been long extinct.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why
You know,
it would have to be
creatures-
a hyenodon.
creatures from the Pleistocene would not be alive in medieval France.
Seems unlikely.
Seems unlikely, exactly. And yeah, it's just a very interesting creature because it's just an interesting story because this was
relatively recent history.
yeah, it's early. So yeah, another reason for the lion theory is that sometimes lions have been known to attack humans, like the Savo lions. But as you said, it's like it doesn't look enough like a wolf to match any of the descriptions people give.
Bandit in chat
Carrion,
is
corpse missing a head wouldn't be unusual. Yeah.
They might have bitten the head off and then walked off with it.
So yeah, that's a possibility. It's like I feel like the hyena theory is...
It does seem the most
very-
feasible.
The hyena theory seems feasible, especially as they actually found and killed a hyena in the area.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that that's confirmed, I mean, it just seems to make sense.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think it also sounds like a lot of these, probably a lot of other people that were listed as being killed by this thing were probably just killed by wolves.
Yes. Yeah, that does make so much sense. That's why this is quite interesting.
Say if there was like 2 or 3 of these escaped hyenas, they probably couldn't kill
Yeah,
100 people by themselves.
It is a shame because what happened with the last one that was shot that is believed to have ended these killings.
Okay. National Geographic.
Apparently, whatever the body of that thing was, matched the stuffed one that they'd killed a few years earlier. But because we've lost that, taxidermy body, we can't confirm what it was, which is such a shame because that would have been like really interesting evidence to see what actually caused this big mass hysteria event.
I'm actually just gonna
so compare the height.
Someone just linked me.
Yeah, if you compare this to the sketch, it would make sense.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, you could see how people would call that a wolf, maybe.
Yeah, because like if you've never seen a hyena before, it does. I know they're like technically closer to cats, but if you you wouldn't have known that. The closest thing you could compare that to was a wolf. Surely you'd say that looks like a wolf.
Yeah. They're much bigger than wolves.
Yeah.
They do have a tail that kind of matches the description. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that is the most likely theory. But I just love how this thing caused such a big, media panic. The news did spread across parts of Europe.
I guess this in this context, media panic means, in the paper news.
Yeah.
People drawing pictures of them and things. Yeah. Well,
so, yeah,
okay.
So yeah, was 1767 is when they found and killed a striped hyena in France.
Right.
And like that is around the same time as they killed the thing that they also.
It's also 1767.
767 is when the whatever it was that he killed that is apparently what ended it was killed. So it was like, oh, there were definitely hyenas around at the time. So
couldn't he have also like? I mean, and couldn't people have said that this guy kills something, and then people are like, it's over, and then
yeah, exactly. It's like it could always be like would that be the confirmation?
I've heard there are also striped hyenas. Yeah.
Yeah, striped. There's as far as I'm aware, there's 3 types. There's a brown hyena, there's a spotted hyena, and a striped hyena. I think the reason people say striped is because they're quite big.
Ooh, hello. Let's have a look. Got another link from the
hyenas
bandit.
are is that an aardwolf?
Oh, well, it's apparently
a striped hyena. Okay, they look similar.
Yeah, you can.
But
certainly...
as you can see, like the descriptions describe this thing as having a black stripe down its back.
I mean, going back to this depiction here, you can kind of definitely see the resemblance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, there were some people thinking that this was some mythical being or that this was some wolf hybrid thing, and it's like it seems most feasible that it was one of these that had got out of somebody's menagerie. But I just think it's so interesting because it's like, as I said, early mass hysteria, the cryptid with a body count, and it inspired like werewolf myths.
Yeah. You know what I think I would have liked to appear in more werewolf myth?
What?
Is the fact that they laugh in a creepy way.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Like if somebody make like a werewolf piece of media but base the creature on descriptions of this thing.
Yeah, it'd be pretty. I think it'd be a bit more cool than the ones we have, to be honest.
It's like the French werewolf.
But that being
it's just
that,
a big werewolf.
Did you have another one for me?
Did. Now the other one is more recent.
Okay.
So I'd give. There's less to this one, I think, but I think it's a nice one. So tying in to what you're going to talk about comes from Ohio. This is the Loveland Frogman.
The Loveland Frogman.
Yeah, lovely. It's from Loveland, Ohio.
Okay.
This one is interesting. This is very much small town urban legend. Its first reporting sighting was 1955.
Okay,
and
right.
the original story, its description is that it's a humanoid frog and that it's about 4 foot tall.
That's pretty short.
Yeah.
Although it's pretty big for a frog.
It's pretty big for a frog. Yeah. So, like I say, it very much is small town local urban legend because the earliest reported sightings of this are all the same. The earliest reported stories is, the first one I could find is that the motorist is driving out of the Branch Hill neighborhood of Loveland, Ohio.
We're already having suggestions that it's a Halloween costume.
I mean, yeah, that is feasible. I know that like hoaxes about this thing have been talked about too. But yeah, so apparently what happened is this guy, he was driving out of Branch Hill. Sometimes this takes place under a bridge, but it's always near the Little Miami River. He saw 3 huge figures in the headlights of his car. And when he stopped, they all turned to look at him and they had frog faces. It was all under the Loveland Bridge. There are some versions of the story where one of the frogs took out a little magic wand and shot sparks at people. What? I just think that that's really funny.
Hello, I am Frogman. Zap, zap, zap.
Yeah, yes. See, this is like very funny. You can tell it's a small town urban legend because if that's the sort of story about it, that you can tell it's like the woman walking by the side of the road story. But what is interesting is on the 3rd of March in 1972, some funny incidents happened with 2 local policemen. So, local police officer Ray Shockey, I think that's supposed to be. He was driving by the Little Miami River. He saw an animal run across the road, so he stopped his police car Yeah, this is probably what the thing looked like. Um, he stopped the car and he saw what he claimed to be like a big frog man. It was crouched on the road like a frog and then it turned and it ran into the river. 2 weeks later, another police officer, a guy called Mark Matthews, he reported seeing the same thing, but then he shot it.
Okay.
Like, he was driving by the same area, saw something run across the road, but instead of watching it, he just got out and shot it. And then he put the body in the back of the car. And it's funny because he does admit that what he thinks he found was just like a very big iguana without a tail, which is probably why it looked more like a bit weird. But like, he showed the body to the other guy, and he was like, "Yeah, that's the same thing I saw." And I think neither of these two guys think that it was the frogman. I think because he showed in the body, he confirmed it. It's like, yeah, we found a big iguana with no tail, but it just sort of fed into the whole local frogman legend. And then in August 2016, very recently, two people were playing Pokemon Go.
Okay.
And they caught an IRL Greninja or whatever. No.
Oh, Polytoad?
Yeah. No, they claimed that they saw a giant frog near the river that got up and walked on two legs.
Well, I mean, it's possible for them to have seen a big frog.
Yeah.
And they do sometimes go up on two legs. Rarely.
Yeah. Like, this is one of those, it's very much a local folklore mascot, which I think is quite cute. Like, you go to Loveland and you can buy shirts that say, "I saw the Loveland Frogman." And in 2014, there was a musical made called Hot Damn, It's the Loveland Frogman.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
I just love
If I'm ever in Loveland, I want to watch that.
Yeah. So yeah, I just thought you might like a little story about frog cryptid. I mean, it's not as cool as something like Mothman, which is another local cryptid in America.
We have
But that's very big and sensationalized. This is just a little hometown frog boy.
We have some really amazing additional images thanks to Smiling Bandit. Yes, very. Look at this guy. Oh, I love it. His stupid face.
So yeah, see, I think it is very feasible that people were just seeing like large frogs or large lizards while driving past in their cars at night, and that just became a local legend of, oh yeah, it was definitely 4 foot tall and on two legs, and it's a frog person. Mouth says frog, but the eyes say please kill me. But yeah, this is a little happy frog boy. Just living in Loveland, being a frog man.
I like how the most threatening thing it ever did was try to shoot somebody with a wand.
It didn't even try to shoot the guy with a wand, it just waved a magical wand that shot sparks. I just love that, like, apparently in the original story there's 3, so like I don't know why it's the Loveland Frog Man and not the Loveland Frog Men.
Did the 3 of them do a little dance?
I would be very disappointed if I saw 3 frog people, one of them with a magical wand, and they weren't also doing like a magical dance routine.
I want to point out, if a frog ever ran at you, it would be terrifying because the sound would be like this. Slap, 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 slap.
Yes. Imagine it's running at you, but it's also reeing at you.
Yes, we're gonna have a Loveland Frogman, what'd you call it? Horror game in the style of Slender.
You were just trying to have a normal day being a policeman in Loveland, Ohio, and a big frog just keeps running at you.
So, do you have anything else to say about the Frogman?
That's all I have to say about the frogman. He's not a very well-known one, but he's a very cute one.
I like how you try.
I think he's quite funny.
You have tried to tie in your talk about cryptids with my subject for today.
I wasn't sure how much I would actually be talking about the first one, so like I'm going to put in the second one. It's a little fun one. I don't know much about this guy, probably because there isn't much to know, because he is very much your friendly neighborhood frog boy.
Well, all right.
Speaking of frog boys.
Speaking of frogs, yeah. My subject that I'm wanting to teach Holly about today is frogs.
Did a little dance, made a little love, get down tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's all I want from a loveland frog boy.
frogs give us all that.
Yeah.
I'm going to start teaching you about frogs. Before I actually start, what do you know about frogs?
I know the difference between a frog and a toad is that a frog needs to be in water more than a toad.
Yeah,
Is that like the main difference? Is there some like
there's some other differences.
Yeah.
The way they spawn eggs is different.
Mhm.
So frogs will make chunks or like balls of
that's
spawn,
where you see the big chunks of frog spawn in the ponds.
whereas toads will make strings.
Okay.
So it's like long lines of eggs.
So it's just like anal beads for eggs.
No.
Or is it like a little froggy little
They-
necklace chain?
They won't be one egg thin. It's like it'll be like clumps, but it'll be like in a line.
Oh, okay. So instead of just like a big ball of eggs, it's like a little ball of eggs. And a little ball of eggs. Like somebody's made rice balls out of eggs and lined them up
I
nicely.
can't believe you just spoke about anal beads.
So I just imagine like how it looks as the frog is laying the eggs in a line. It's like
Well, oof.
no,
Oh
I shouldn't.
God. Oh God.
Like that would look freaking funny. I'm sure that's not how the frog lays eggs.
I suppose something else I would say is that. Oh God. I mean, I can't stop the. Also, something that tends to be the case is that toads tend to have like poisonous glands on the back, like behind their eyes,
Okay.
that they like secrete poisons out
Hmm.
from. This is usually protective. Something tries to eat it and then decides to stop because it tastes really horrible, or in extreme cases because they die.
Yeah.
Whereas some poisonous frogs also exist, but they don't usually have poisonous. They don't produce poison in the same way.
Yeah. You just do not eat the toad.
It's probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we'll get into.
Unless it's toad in the hole, that is safe to eat.
So I have done quite a bit of study on some frogs and toads. I've made a document here. And the first one we have here is the chonky boy himself. The African bullfrog, also known as the giant African bullfrog. I have got the Latin names for these. I don't know why I can't pronounce them.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yes. Yes, not to be confused with venomous. Venomous would be like a snake that bites you and injects poison into you.
Yeah.
Well, poison is still not the right term.
Yeah, venom is injected,
toxin
poison is ingested.
into you. Yeah. Poisons and venoms are both toxins. But venoms are injected into you, and poison you will like ingest by eating the animal or something like that. So yeah, the bullfrog is mostly found in Africa, just throughout all of Africa, or in some weirdos' homes for people who really like them and want to own them. They're not an uncommon frog pet.
Apparently they're like quite good to keep as pets because they're quite hardy.
Yeah, compared to most other frogs, they're pretty tough.
Yeah, can't they live like 10 years if you keep it as a pet?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're actually the second biggest frog in the world.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Oh yes, someone just talking about venomous and poisonous again. But yes, as you might notice, this will get to be a bit of a theme. I did. The bullfrog will eat almost anything that is smaller than it. Yeah, I basically just listed a few examples. But it is also a cannibalistic frog.
Okay.
Some frogs are cannibalistic, some aren't. African bullfrogs are. They're the largest frog in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Can weigh as much as 1.4 kilos. Now, I've pointed out that females are about half the size of the males. This is unusual.
Oh yes, because I was going to say, I know that's the case with reptiles, is that normally the female is bigger than the male.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if that applied to like amphibians too.
Well, particularly in frogs and toads, usually the male is far smaller because this helps in what is known as amplexus, which
Okay.
which is essentially frog mating. This is because the way they go about mating usually is that they grab the female from behind,
Is this
holding their arms.
Is this the whatever you want, mama?
You don't, Ollie, we don't have any context for that. The people don't know what that means.
I did post it in the frog posting of our Discord a while ago.
Well, I guess maybe people could go trolling through that. Sure. But basically, the male will hold the female from behind, and the female will sort of lay their eggs, and the male will release sperm at the same time.
Okay, so it helps the
Because
herd be bigger.
if the male is smaller, it's much easier to get onto the back of the female.
Yeah.
Basically. Whereas with this particular species, I really tried to get this information about, well, how do they do it, considering that the males are about twice the size? And the answer is,
Does
it's
he
the
just
exact same
flop?
way. They do it the exact same way, except the male just squashes the female. Yeah. Just like, hi mama, I'm chunky. Just squashes on top of him. The males like to kind of make a whooping noise in the rainy season, which is also their breeding season.
Mhm.
They attract a mate. The female will come to the male, and during this time, the males will sometimes actually fight and kill each other over females. The female also, interestingly, considering what I just said, knowing that they're going to be squashed, they try to actively go for the largest possible male.
Oh god, I'm just
That's the female selection.
tiny female frogs are just size queens.
A very specific
Like,
type.
I love size play. I need to get myself the biggest boy.
Also, interestingly, this is actually a bit of a theme with frogs. After the mating has happened, the female leaves, and the male guards the spawn and tadpoles until they are grown into frogs.
Oh, this is what that little clip of the David Attenborough documentary is, isn't it?
Yes.
It's Big Daddy Frog, and he's trying to dig a hole to the lake, the pond, river, so that his babies can escape.
Yeah, because if they usually will have them in little. If they're in like savannah, there'll be like a nearby river. They'll mate in, but they'll make a little kind of pool to do that in.
Yeah.
And then that pool will slowly dry up over time, so the male has to kind of make a little canal into the river to allow the tadpoles to flow into it. And then
He's
yeah.
Big Daddy Frog.
He does. He will also bite the fuck out of you if you try to mess with his babies.
He's a good daddy frog.
Yeah. Something that you might not know though is that when they're fully grown, he may eat a few of them, just to teach them the lesson, and then he'll leave. I did say they're cannibalistic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the African bullfrog. Do you have any questions about him?
What would you call that one? What name would you give
Oh
that
yeah,
frog in that
I like
picture?
to come up with names, and this would be, I like to call the African bullfrogs Pogo. I think they look like a Pogo.
Yeah. There's a Pogo Frogo.
Yeah.
This is the one you'd have as a pet if you could have a frog.
Probably. They seem the easiest to look after, and they're real chunky.
Yeah. I love the faces they make as well. They do just look like...
They look either
Very
quite grumpy
comfy.
or very happy and comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can really gorge when they eat.
Yeah.
Um,
Big boy.
So we're gonna move
Grumpy boy!
on to a pretty grumpy boy. Yeah.
This is the frog that just breathes.
This is generally known as like the desert rain frog,
Yeah.
but it's also the African rain frog, the web-footed rain frog, or Bullinger's short-headed frog.
Yeah.
It's mostly found in southeastern Africa, particularly on the coast of Namibia and South Africa. It's not actually known exactly what it eats.
Okay, so it's a little bug-eating boy.
If Grumpy Cat was a frog.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, definitely.
Rip tartar sauce.
We haven't like sort of had somebody viewing it eating,
Yeah.
but it's thought to eat moths, beetles, and larvae.
Okay, 'cause it's quite small.
Yeah.
Each.
Oh yeah, these are very small. In fact, it says there about 4 to 6 centimeters in length at most.
Oh wow! I just saw no tadpole stage.
Yes, they don't have a tadpole stage.
Wow.
Some frogs don't.
They speed run adulthood.
Certain frogs don't, particularly small ones.
Yeah.
Because there's no point. The reason for the tadpole stage usually is because producing a fully grown frog in your egg it sort of takes more time and more energy. But because these frogs are so much smaller, it doesn't take all that long. So it's kind of, evolutionary speaking, it's sort of fine.
It would be a very tiny, tiny tadpole.
Yeah, there'd be no reason for
it.
Yeah. In this context, females are larger than males. That's actually the normal for frogs. This one is an interesting frog because it doesn't actually require a water source.
So it's an arboreal frog?
No.
I know, arboreal ones are the ones that live in the trees, aren't they?
Yes, it doesn't live in trees.
Yeah.
It lives in a very specific type of environment, i.e., it lives in sort of sandy coast. Not actually in sea, but just in a location that's like constantly moist with fog and humid.
Okay, it's the beach frog.
Kind of, yeah. It'll burrow itself in the day and come out at night.
Yeah.
Also, it's known for its war cry, quote unquote.
This is what a
it sounds like a squeaker toy.
Yeah. They sound so angry. There's something so small, but it's adorable.
This one's known to literally sound like a dog toy. So.
Yeah, there's a video of this. There's a video on YouTube of this one screaming, isn't there?
Yeah, I do recommend. If you want to see that, just put in like cute squeaky frog, and you'll see that video. Yeah,
it's the cutest noise.
So yeah, any questions about that one?
What would you call it? Like seriously, for all these frogs, I need to know what you would name the frog.
It's pretty grumpy.
They look and sound angry the same way small girls look when they look and sound angry.
Yeah.
It's the Umaru frog.
If I was to get one of these, I may get I don't think you can't own these.
Yeah.
But if I was to own one, I could imagine getting a female who would be a little bit bigger. I think I would call it Princess.
Okay. Princess Toad.
It's a little bit different.
Princess frog.
Yeah. So, it's a bit... The thing I mentioned as well, I want to clarify. It doesn't require a water source because its environment is just constantly wet.
Yeah.
It still, requires water. Yeah.
Pretty sure, they're amphibians, so I'm pretty sure they do need water.
Well, toads don't.
Yeah.
So we'll get on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm not saying they don't require... They can drink water, but what I mean is, frogs need to be in water,
Yeah.
Usually. Okay. Well, we'll move on to the American bullfrog, which we can compare to its African
It's
cousin.
him from the Budweiser commercial.
Yeah. We can compare it to the African cousin. It's much more common.
Okay.
It's native to East and North America, particularly in swamps, ponds, and lakes.
Okay.
But it's also found in South America, Western Europe, China, Japan, Southeast Asia as an invasive species.
He's Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah. Jeremiah?
Is that what you'd call this frog?
This one's pretty similar to the bullfrog in terms of what it eats, but it's not... So basically in the sense that it'll eat anything smaller than it.
Yeah.
But it's not as big as its African cousin.
Surprised that America is not as big.
Yeah.
Frogs can't go to Walmart.
Now, I was actually surprised by how much information I had about American bullfrogs.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, during mating season, it actually has 3 distinct calls. One for threats to other males.
Yeah.
This is the males do 3 distinct calls.
Yeah.
Threats to other males, attractive calls to females, and also a battle cry just before engaging in combat. Yeah.
Sorry, I just love that the frog has a freaking war cry.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's specifically two frogs are about to fight. They do this special "we're about to fight" sound. Geronimo.
Yeah.
Interestingly, as well, studies have seemed to indicate this is not that common amongst frogs.
Yeah.
Is that
They form boy bands.
Hold on, you're skipping a few bits. The American bullfrog will actually only mate with a female if the female first touches the male.
Okay.
So usually males will just kind of see the female and just kind of jump on them. But
Yeah.
in this case, no. The female is attracted to the male by his chorus, his songs, and touches him, and then he clasps him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can only just imagine there's just like a fucking frog boy band.
Yes.
They're trying to attract all the lady frogs by looking sexy and just singing.
So usually the males will like just fight each other when there's relatively small numbers of them. But because this type of bullfrog is actually really common, there's usually tons and tons of them. So that becomes infeasible. They can't like there's too many frogs for them all to fight, right? So instead they make temporary alliances and sing together to attract as many females to them as possible.
I want to see Pond Direction.
I mentioned some other things here. You may have know about the thing where where like a frog will like shoot its tongue out to grab an insect. So that's not based on regular muscles.
Okay.
The American bullfrog actually like builds up tension in its tongue and then releases it like a slingshot.
Okay.
So when it closes its mouth, it's building up the tension, and when it opens the mouth, it just shoots out
Okay.
as the tension releases. And that's how it actually does it. Apparently, it wouldn't be able to produce that energy with just muscle.
Oh. Got a cool weapon there.
Yeah. It can jump 10 times its own body length.
Ooh, wow. That's far for a big boy.
Which is much, much further than the African bullfrog that can barely jump half its own body length.
I've seen video of a guy feeding his pet African bullfrog, and watching it just sort of belly flop across the floor is funny.
Also, it's probably the frog that's most commonly eaten around the world.
Okay.
But it is especially eaten in the southern United States.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. There was actually a lot more information about the American bullfrogs, but did you have anything you wanted to ask about?
Sorry, I quite like that. I like this big boy. He's an all-American frog.
Yeah. Look at his face.
Yeah. He looks like he wants to share a beer on the porch with you.
Also, to give you a bit more context, even in the choruses, there would be a kind of domination sort of hierarchy amongst the males. So basically, you'd have the dominant males that would be sat in high positions on rocks or lily pads, and they'd be bigger as well. And then you'd have the submissive males who would be sat in the water with only their heads out.
So he literally is like the singer, and then they're like the backing band.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just love this. Like, how do frogs attract women? Battle of the boy bands.
They mostly are all like singing. Particularly the American bullfrog is a little bit different, just because I know that its attractive call sounds like the kind of like a low hum noise, like a kind of brr 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 kind of noise.
Yeah.
You could probably hear it if you like in states of America where they are common.
Yeah, I know. I'm wondering do they get these in Florida?
Apparently small numbers of them have appeared.
Oh, okay. I'm wondering if I have heard this frog.
Yeah.
No, I've definitely heard audio of it.
They are considered to be an invasive species in various places because it's thought that they will kill off other frogs and some other types of predators and sort of replace them.
Oh, okay.
I would describe the American bullfrog as one of the most successful frogs in terms of spreading. But yeah, I suppose moving on from that.
What would you call an American bullfrog? What name would you give him?
Johnny.
Oh, okay. This sounds like
Maybe
a
it
nice
would be just
American
Jono.
Jono the frog.
Yeah.
New Kids on the Frog. Wet Life.
Wet life. I like wet
In
life.
Pond.
So this frog, if I may say, probably the silliest looking frog. This is Budget's frog, also known as the hippo frog, the Freddy Krueger
Why is
frog.
it called the Freddy Krueger
I
frog?
don't know. And also called
this-
in Spanish, escuzo de agua.
This isn't the one that breaks its bones and sticks them out of its body as a
No,
weapon.
I may have to come back to frogs because there's a bunch I haven't looked at yet.
Okay, I'm just like, why the fuck else would you call this thing a Freddy Krueger frog?
It's got a very distinct look. They come from Paraguay, Bolivia, and Argentina, and also relatively commonly sold as pets.
I've seen videos of people like cleaning the tanks for these while the frog just sort of runs around the table screaming. It's like,
Someone's suggesting that maybe the frog looks like it has kind of burnt skin, and that's kind of what like Freddy Krueger looks like.
maybe.
Maybe, maybe I suppose.
No, he's just so dreamy.
Most commonly, this frog eats insects, snails, and other frogs.
Okay.
And it's thought that it might be cannibalistic, but people aren't sure.
Okay.
There is advice to not have more than one because they may eat each other.
Okay.
Unlike most frogs, maybe their body makes up at most like a sixth of their entire body. Their head makes up about a sixth of their entire body. Usually, this one, its head is about a third of its body. It's got a very big head, and a very, very large mouth, as you can see, which makes it has this kind of funny smile all the time. It hibernates in winter in a cocoon made of its own dead skin.
Okay. Does it only emerge to tell people it's Wednesday?
Hold on, I'm getting to that. So while it's hibernating underground, the skin surrounds it and prevents it from losing moisture.
Yeah.
It is actually super aggressive.
This is why they're always screaming, isn't it?
It puffs up to try and make itself look bigger and screeches at anything it perceives as a threat.
When they puff themselves off, it emphasizes how big and stupid their mouths look.
Yeah, yeah, I know. In the night, it'll be awake and it will sit in water with its eyes and nostrils above the surface, waiting for something to just pass by it, and then it'll grab it and eat it.
Yeah. Big frog.
This is once again pretty normal. The males are about half the size of females. Also, in case you didn't know, it's the Wednesday frog.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Yes. Did you want to know anything else about budgets?
What would you call the budget frog?
Well, I've often said that I would call them bonky. Look at them. Bonky. They have a very flat
I
look.
love their little eyes as well. Like, picture these guys with their eyes above the water is adorable.
Yeah.
Such cute little babies.
Now we're going to move on to a toad. This is the cane toad.
Yeah.
Also known as the giant neotropical toad and the marine toad.
Mm-hmm.
It's native to South and Central America. However, it is an invasive species in Australia especially,
Yeah.
and the Caribbean, but also parts of Oceania in general.
Yeah.
it generally eats anything that is smaller than it. Sensing a theme here?
Yeah. For big forks, that just be like, does this fit in my mouth? I eat it.
Unlike most other frogs and toads, it's actually more of an omnivore.
Yeah.
It will eat plants, dog food, and apparently even rubbish.
It's a freaking tiger shark frog.
Also,
Toad.
they are confirmed cannibals.
Okay.
Yeah, cane toads. This is going to be what I think of as the nastiest frog I found.
Yeah.
They are toxic as fuck. They have large poisonous glands behind their eyes, like most toads, but their bufotoxin, they start releasing it when threatened. And if you try to like ingest the toad, if you try to eat it, it's known not only to kill most potential predators,
Yeah.
especially dogs, but also has been known to kill some humans.
Oof.
You might be wondering what those humans were doing.
Were they trying to lick it to get high?
They were trying to lick it to get high or eat it,
Okay.
and they died for this endeavor. Worth mentioning as well, the tadpoles are also equally as toxic.
Wow.
So if you even eat the tadpoles, you die.
Do not eat toad.
But there is one period of time where it's okay to eat the cane toad.
When?
When it's an adolescent.
Okay.
It's no longer a tadpole, but hasn't produced its glands yet.
So when it's like in that little, is it called a polywog stage, where it's like a peanut-sized
Yes.
frog with a long tail and they look adorable and funny? You can eat that.
Yeah, you can.
We can't eat it any sooner or any later.
They don't have any kind of poisonous gland at that point, so you can safely eat them.
Yeah.
Because of this time period, that is the time period that several types of creatures have learned to eat these adolescent toads.
Yeah.
And this has resulted in about 0.5% of cane toads actually making it to maturity.
Okay.
This also combined with the tadpoles being cannibalistic.
Okay, so it's like they're like Spartan frogs.
They are fucking hardcore. If you see a cane toad, don't fuck with it. He survived. He survived where the other 199 of his brothers and sisters didn't.
There really are. There can only be one.
Yeah.
Strongest toad.
Worth mentioning that the bufotoxin that it produces
Yeah.
has something in it called bufotenin.
Mhm.
Bufotenin is classified by the Australian government as a Schedule 9 drug alongside LSD and heroin.
Oh gosh. Hello, Kuro. What are we reading? Jim is teaching Holly about frogs,
I'm teaching Holly about frogs and toads.
and we're gonna rank the best ones.
This is an actual one that produces a drug the Australian government regulates. If you were to ingest bufotenin, you would have mild hallucinations, but it can also cause serious sickness and death.
If all your hallucinations don't involve like a frogman with a magical sparks wand, I'll be disappointed.
Now, it's worth mentioning this cane toad is also the largest toad in the world.
Okay. So he's not a frog, he's a toad.
Yes. Interestingly, the biggest frog in the world is bigger.
Yeah.
Also mentioning, so there's a really stupid story about Australians shipping cane toads to Australia on purpose to try and deal with cane beetles that were eating their sugarcane
Okay.
and their plantations. Because they called these things cane toads because they were under the impression that these toads eat these beetles in particular.
Okay, but they don't eat those beetles.
No, they do eat the beetles, but they are not arboreal, and they're very heavy, relatively speaking, to their strength.
They don't climb up the sugarcane like they thought they did.
Yeah, they don't climb up the sugar cane, so therefore the beetles just hid at the top of the sugar cane, and the cane toads were very unsuccessful in eating them.
The cane toad just like, we'll just eat everything else then.
Yep. So that actually is worth mentioning now is that the result is that cane toads are invasive to Australia and they have been fucking with the local habitat.
They are just the survivable frog.
Ugh, these fuckers are just nasty. I mentioned earlier that toads have spawn strings.
Yeah.
So cane toads in particular have really, really big ones. They, after mating, have about 8,000 to 25,000 eggs. And that can be as long as 20 meters.
You say you never got to see my furry art. Well, I don't actually draw anymore.
This is a tangent.
So yeah, Kiro, I don't draw anymore. I used to. I did recently take some fursuit photos though, so I will probably post those on the Discord if people want to see that.
Yes, but just in case you missed it, they're egg strings.
Yeah.
These huge jelly strings are about 20 meters long.
Wow.
Yeah. It's okay, Koro.
No, we're doing a bit of an interesting discussion stream where Jim and I just try and teach each other about things. The other things is cool.
Also, you might have thought the only type of frog that is known to be used for like poisoning weapons would be the poison dart frog.
Okay, but
not true.
Also,
cane toads also used by an indigenous people, the Embera Wunan of Panama. They actually use the bofotoxin on the end of their arrows.
Yeah.
Yep. Also,
is this stuff true? Yeah, Jim's got a research load of stuff about frogs. I was talking about creatures that probably don't exist.
This is the cane toad. Yep. It's a real toad. Also, a weird use of the bufotoxin. There's a few weird uses, but the ones I'm just going to mention is that the Japanese like to use bufotenin as a hair growth solution.
Yes.
And also as an aphrodisiac.
Okay.
The Chinese also like to use it in cardiac surgery.
What the fuck?
Now, the reason for this is because if you take bufotenin, then it actually slows your heart rate.
Okay.
Therefore making cardiac surgery easier.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, just like, oh, we're going to fix your heart here. So, just poisonous fog.
For the probably...
It doesn't actually grow your hair, but you see your hair growing. Yeah.
I bet, yeah. So, probably the most hardcore of frogs and toads, the cane toad. Do you have any questions about them?
What would you call one?
A cane toad? They are grumpy little bastards. I'll probably call it Buggo.
Buggo? Don't fuck with Buggo the toad.
Yeah.
I love this weird freaking toad.
So moving on, we're gonna redial it back quite a lot now and just talk about the common frog.
This is the common garden frog.
Also known as the European frog or the European brown frog, etc.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other little variations in the name. It's found throughout all of Europe and Scandinavia. Also exists in certain amounts in Asia and Japan.
Yeah. Brandon says he called the cane toad candy because of candy cane and swallowing their toxin like candy.
I don't recommend eating the toxin of a cane toad. I'm recommending that you don't eat that.
Do not eat toad.
Especially considering it is literally illegal in Australia.
It will kill you to eat the
toad. Comes in various colours, the common frog. Brown, green, grey, yellow, and the colour rufus, apparently, which is reddish-brown.
Yeah.
It is generally prey for a lot of creatures. The tadpoles are eaten by fish, birds, and even some beetles and dragonfly larvae.
I know my parents' cats like to try and eat these.
Yeah, I can imagine. Adults are prey for various birds, marsupials, rodents, and snakes, and I imagine cats.
Yeah.
And probably dogs, yeah. Also, I've mentioned some other things here, but I'm going to be honest. These things about like them having the nuptial pads, this is just how the males grip females, and them showing off, making sounds to attract females. This is just kind of common amongst most frogs.
So the American bullfrog, they form a boy band. These guys just start a podcast.
Pretty much. Although this is probably the most fun thing. is that they are known to get onto the back of the female, which is bigger than the male.
Yeah.
And then when another male tries to get on, they kick them away. Like,
Yeah.
no, mine, no.
It's like no frog orgies.
Well, also just worth mentioning, this thing eats much less, has much less options for food. It's all just insects, arachnids, lice, snails, and worms.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things.
This is the polite little British garden frog.
This is what I think of as sort of the base, the classic frog.
Frog classic. What would you call the classic?
Now.
What would you call the frog?
Slipper.
He's Slipper, the British frog.
And now we have the common toad. Yeah. Also known as the European toad or Euro toad sometimes. I like its Latin name is Bufo Bufo.
Eurotoad.
Yeah.
It's where all the frog boy bands compete.
It's known to be in most of Europe, but not in Ireland or Iceland. It's also found in Northwest Asia and Northwest Africa.
Mm-hmm.
It has a selection of foods that it eats: lice, slugs, beetles, caterpillars, flies, worms, and some small mice.
Mm-hmm.
A bit bigger than the common frog. Generally, this particular type, this particular species, is the one that is associated with witchcraft.
Okay.
Involved in various literature and myths. Apparently, usually the ingredient of a witch's spell.
Mm-hmm.
It produces the glands, just like the cane toad, but it's not nearly as dangerous. And in fact, grass snakes are entirely unaffected by its poison.
Okay.
They live unusually long.
Mm-hmm.
In captivity, they can live for as long as 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah. They like to make a defensive stance when threatened.
Okay.
They puff out like many frogs
That's what
and
he's
toads,
doing here, then.
but they also like stand up on their hind legs to make themselves look bigger.
Oh, he's a leggy boy.
Yeah. This is not what they normally do. This is like him trying to like scare people off.
Yeah.
And you mentioned orgies.
This is the opposite of the other frog. This is the frog orgy.
So sometimes the female.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Is like
it the Loveland Frogman? Well, it's not in America though.
not in America, but like, could that feasibly have been something like a bullfrog doing something like this?
Maybe. Although American bullfrogs are not known to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, unlike the common frog, the common toad, sometimes they'll fight each other over females and stuff, but sometimes females are so outnumbered by males that several males will mount the female in a ball. In an orgy ball.
Does it actually look like a ball?
And apparently mating lasts for several days.
Oh wow, they like to have fun.
So that female's stuck there for a while. So, yeah. Bandit seems to be suggesting that maybe a common toad made it to America. I mean, in Loveland,
I don't know, but like...
Maybe. I guess. It's one solution.
I mean, I'm guessing there are similar toads in America. I know that the American toad is a toad.
I don't know if there is a toad that does this in America. Maybe. But I'd have to find out. Anything to say about this common toad?
What would you call him?
I would call him Euro.
Okay.
Now.
Oh, these weird looking dudes.
Time for Pointy Boy, Darwin's frog. Named after Darwin, the people who discovered him. Well, it's interesting. So, Darwin actually discovered these frogs.
Yeah.
But he didn't properly categorize them. He just made a note. He was busy, and then he left.
Okay. I saw a frog with a flat head.
And then some other people found him later, and then attributed this frog to Darwin.
Okay.
They are only native to streams in Chile and Argentina.
Okay.
You may notice that they have a big pointy nose.
Yeah. Why?
We don't know.
Okay. We haven't found the evolutionary reason for this to look like... It looks like a leaf, the whole frog.
That is something worth mentioning, is that I didn't actually put this in, but they apparently try to camouflage themselves as leaves, as a
Yeah.
defense mechanism.
Maybe that's part of the reason for the pointy nose then. It sort of looked way more like a leaf.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah. Now, it's a little bit sad. They are an endangered frog.
Oh, okay. I mean, if they're only limited to like a small area, I'm not surprised.
Yes. The main reason is just because of the small area they live in and human populations increasing.
Yeah.
They're not like actively hunted or anything, but yeah, there is some conservationist efforts being made.
Yeah.
But here's perhaps the most interesting thing about them. Not their long nose, but this. Puke babies.
Okay.
So, the males, well, after mating with the female, will swallow the spawn
Yeah.
and then develop the tadpoles inside of their vocal sacs for several weeks. And then when they have developed into frogs, they spit them out.
You're just imagining that looking, you just see a little frog barfing other frogs.
Yeah, that's what this one does.
That's hilarious and adorable.
There's a lot of good dad frogs.
Yeah,
Isn't there?
frogs seem to be good dad until they start eating their own babies.
Yeah, this one doesn't. It's
Yeah.
not
Not
cannibalistic.
cannibalistic.
No. Interestingly, because it manages to actively go out of its way to feed itself while it's still got its young in its vocal sac.
Ah, okay. So it's able to sort of put them in like a pocket and then...
Well, the vocal sac is separate from its... It's like the vocal sac is like in the throat,
Yeah.
but it is like a little pocket inside of its throat.
And what would you call him?
Pointy. Now we're going to move on to an extinct species.
Oh wow, I love that image.
This is the devil frog, or the devil toad, also known as the frog from hell. This creature is long extinct. It's not extinct recently or anything, don't worry. It was thought to once live in Madagascar during the Cretaceous period.
Walking with frogs.
It's thought to have eaten anything up to and including juvenile dinosaurs.
I mean, like, frogs will eat anything, like, smaller than themselves, and this was like a fucking beach ball size, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's thought to have been about 16 inches in length for about beach ball size.
Yeah.
It's possible that it was even bigger than that. We just may not
have found all of the skeletons for it.
Yeah. Apparently we found a total of 75 fossils.
Okay.
It's a prehistoric giant frog that's even bigger than any frog that lives today.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have much else to say about it.
What would you call one if one existed?
Oh, I think I had a name. What was I gonna call it? Oh, I was gonna call it Gronko. Yeah.
Gronko.
Gronko. Big frog. These just to clarify, in case anyone thinks I'm talking bullshit, these fossils were discovered in 1993 by David W. Krause.
So it's fairly recently discovered.
Yep. So look them up if you want.
Yeah.
I also love the Latin name is Beelzebufo Ampinga, which more or less translates to devil toad of the water.
Ah.
I believe, something like that.
Devil toad.
So yeah, big one. And now,
these boys.
and now the living giant frog, which is actually called the Goliath frog, or the Goliath bullfrog, or the giant slippery frog. Yes, very, very big boy. They only exist in the rivers of Cameroon and the equatorial New Guinea.
Yeah.
They basically eat anything that they can fit into their mouth.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a lot.
This includes crabs, baby turtles, snakes, small mammals, and even bats.
Wow.
They are the largest living frog, even bigger than a cane toad. They can be up to 12 inches in length. You can see a person holding one there. Interestingly, this might seem strange, but most tadpoles are carnivorous or omnivorous.
Yeah.
Their tadpoles are herbivorous. They only eat plants.
Okay. It's because it's easier for them to eat plants, I'm assuming.
Oh, it's weird because the Goliath frog itself is cannibalistic.
Okay. The babies don't even eat each other.
No.
Yeah.
What else is kind of interesting is that they can't speak.
If this thing could make noise, it would be really threatening.
Yeah, but they can't.
It's good that they can't make noise. That'd be, like, really frightening.
They have no vocal sac.
Yeah.
But think about it this way. Massive frog, completely silent. You turn around and it's there.
Yeah.
Really suddenly.
You're just sitting there like, I can't make a noise.
What's your problem?
Yeah, just like, I'm a frog.
They also make nests, which is a little unusual.
Yeah.
Usually frogs would just spawn in a pool or a lake or river or something.
Yeah.
They actually like spawn in a pool or lake, but then they make a small nest in the pool, sometimes using large stones. Relatively large stones.
Yeah.
It's thought that this might be why they are so big, because they need the physical strength to move the stones as like a defensive barrier around their eggs.
Oh, okay. He makes his own private pool.
They have quite a long parenthood because, unlike most species, the tadpoles usually may take like a few weeks, maybe,
Okay.
or maybe even just a few days, depending how big they are.
Yeah.
These take 4 months to develop into frogs.
Okay. And the parents look after the babies.
Yeah, both the male and the female guard the tadpoles for that entire time.
Oh, it's a good family of frogs.
Yeah. However, a little sad, I have to point out, they are endangered and they're actively hunted by humans in the area that they live in.
Mm.
This is because they're considered a good food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully conservation efforts might let us look after the Goliath frog. Big,
What would you call one?
big ones. Ooh.
Grando.
Yeah. Or grandee. Yeah. So we'll move on. This is the natterjack toad.
Okay.
These creatures are mostly native to sandy areas of Brando. Okay. The natterjack toad. Mostly around in sandy areas and shrubland of Europe.
Yeah.
It's kind of smaller than the common toad, only eating insects and beetles. It really has just this like yellow stripe down its back, as you can see.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes people look for that to distinguish it from the common toad.
Okay. Does he go fast?
No.
He doesn't have go faster stripes. Okay.
Nah. But they are very loud.
Yeah.
They're much louder than the common toad. They have this like vocal sac that's more powerful, that they blast out this like calling for a mate.
Yeah. Okay.
You ever hear a loud toad noise, especially if you're in Ireland? They are around in an island. Probably a natterjack toad.
Yeah. What would you call one?
I might have just even called it like stripe.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. They're pretty grumpy and sort of bumpy. Yeah. And now, the Pac-Man frog, also sometimes called the horned frog.
Yeah.
It's kind of called that because of its like.
It looks like it has horns.
Yeah, it looks like it has horns, and some people think it looks like Pac-Man.
Oh yeah, I can sort of see with its face. I'm guessing when it opens its mouth, it looks like that.
Yes. It might be called that because it's known to eat very, very fast.
Ah, okay. So
Not-
it hops around like wagga wagga wagga.
It's known to sort of not stop to swallow one thing. It'll be like halfway through eating one thing and then grab another thing to stuff into its mouth.
So it just goes around eating like Pac-Man.
Yeah. There are various different versions of this species throughout South America. Depending which country you're in, you'll get different types.
Yeah.
It's very bitey,
Mm.
in the sense that it has a really strong bite compared to most frogs.
Yeah.
The really big ones apparently have bite strength about the same as some mammals.
Ooh, he's strong.
Yeah. It comes in various colors. I was only able to find there's 8 different species that are known, but I was only able to find the colors of 5 of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like red and black, brown and light brown, red and black stripes, yellow with brown spots, and green and red with brown patterns.
No, someone I know recently bought, I think it was like an apricot one.
Hmm.
And they are like literally like peachy apricot colours, like pink and reddish.
Yeah, I have seen that one
They
as well.
are very cute.
Apparently, quite a lot of the time, albino versions are more commonly pets.
Yeah.
Albinos are apparently kind of actively bred because of that.
Yeah. Would make sense.
Yeah,
Sure.
this is another frog that's quite popular as a pet.
Yeah. I can see why. They look very pretty.
It's also known to sort of chirp and croak quite loudly.
Yeah.
But as much as I just said it's popular as a pet, it's also the fact that it's quite bitey and also quite loud means it's quite commonly like returned or abandoned.
Yeah, it's like one that the person I know has one, like has a lot of amphibians and reptiles.
Yeah.
They seem like the kind of pet that appeals to that type of, the people who are really into the reptiles and amphibians.
But this one's often let down by its owners. So I'm going to just tell everyone now, don't get one of these unless you're ready to look after it. Okay? Now, we're going to move on to a frog that doesn't have a name.
Okay. It's the tiniest frog.
So this is known as the Pedophyrin amcuensis, which is its Latin name.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a common name. They exist only in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
But they're extremely common. But they exist like on little leaves. The main thing to take away from these is that they are the world's smallest frog at only about 0.3 inches in length.
Yeah.
Well, that's about 7.7 millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
They're really small. That's it on a leaf.
Oh wow. Sorry, I'm just thinking 7 millimeters. I use.
Do you want me to show you?
I was gonna say I use 8 millimeter nails for the boxes I make.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is smaller than that.
It's slightly smaller than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, it is
They
tiny.
are really small. This is why they haven't been discovered until relatively recently, in 2009. The Pedophyrin amawensis.
I think that's how you're supposed to say this.
Probably.
Pedophyrin amarensis. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fairly newly discovered.
So why do they? Their common name should just be the tiny frog.
But guess what?
What?
They're not just the world's smallest frog in the world.
Yeah.
They're the world's smallest vertebrate.
Oh, like of all.
Yes.
Wow.
They're extremely small.
Record breakers, these guys.
Yes.
Speed run adulthood with no tadpole stage.
His boss speaks Latin. He is a pain in the ass. Lord.
No, I'm.
Oh, I see. I see.
I can say
They're
I'm
also-
impressed when people can speak Latin.
As you probably like the desert rain frog. No
Yeah.
no tadpole stage.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck is the point? Some frogs' tadpoles are bigger than this.
Wow.
But that's really all I know about them. They like to hang out on leaves. They're extremely numerous. They don't really make much noise.
And what would you call a tiny, tiny, tiny frog?
Swallow.
You little Foggy.
So yeah, moving on. We're getting near the end now. You may have heard about the poison dart frog.
Yes.
Did you know that there are quite a few different species of them?
Yeah, because I see these in aquariums a lot.
Yes.
There are blue. I think the blue ones are my favourite ones for these, but I've also seen the red and black ones.
Yeah. So the image I have here is actually of the most poisonous variant,
Oh wow.
called the golden poison frog.
Oh, these and the Goliath frog I know from Planet Zoo.
Mm. They only exist in North and South America.
Yeah.
They eat very small insects like ants, mites, and termites. They come in many different colors, but each color is its own species. They produce different toxins depending on what species it is as well. They're very toxic, with the golden poison frog having a poison strong enough to kill 20 men.
Wow.
They're pretty small. Pretty small as frogs go.
Yeah.
And they are a little unusual in the way that they keep their tadpoles.
Oh yeah.
This is an arboreal frog, as you might have guessed.
Yeah.
But what they will do is they'll actually take their tadpoles, produce mucus on them to make sort of a jelly over them, and then they will stick them to their backs.
I think I've seen pictures of this.
In that way, the tadpoles grow and mature on the back of the poison dart frog until such a time that they mature.
And become a tiny frog.
Yeah.
Aww. Good parent frogs.
Yeah.
Frogs are good parent creatures.
Yeah, broadly.
Yeah. Until they start eating their babies, then they're not good parents.
Yeah. But they only eat a few of them.
Yeah.
Then we will see this boy. You may have heard about this one. The red-eyed tree frog.
The classic poster boy of frogs.
Yep. They come from Mexico, Central America, and Colombia.
Yeah.
They eat various insects, including things like moths. They are arboreal, live in trees within jungles. They have the sticky fingers. yes. They have sticky pods on the ends of their fingers, which allow them to climb trees and most other surfaces.
Does it catch bugs by like zipping its tongue and throwing it at them?
No, it doesn't. No. Also, they mostly will spend like their entire life inside of trees.
Oh, okay.
So they'll be born in trees.
Yeah.
The eggs will be spawned in the trees and then kept in folded leaves to kind of give them some level of protection.
Yeah.
And if the eggs are like disturbed prior to them fully maturing, as long as they should do, they will actually hatch early, and the tadpoles will like try to escape.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that. Says in the male shakes branches to get rid of the other males.
Yeah.
So it's like
they try to shake other males out of the tree.
it's like Fortnite, but you win, you get laid.
This
one has to be Peter Spider Frog.
Spider frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. What about Pito?
Peter's such a cute frog name. Love with their little funny eyes.
Yes.
Are these the ones that actually ribbit, or am I thinking of a different frog?
There aren't actually that many frogs that do that.
Yeah, because I know that like there's very few that do, but because that's the one that was used as like the recording. Whenever frogs appear in TV, that's why it's like a ribbit, and people think that it's...
These ones don't. They
Yeah.
chirp. Make
Yeah.
a kind of squeaking noise.
I seem to think that the one that ribbits is also very green.
Perhaps. And I believe finally,
Oh, these boys.
this is the tomato frog. They live in Madagascar.
Yeah.
Eat the small insects that are around there. I tried to find some interesting things about them. Couldn't find that much information, but they do produce a toxin kind of similar to like poison dart frogs. But the poison they produce at most just produces a kind of allergic reaction in humans.
Yeah.
and they only secrete this poison when they're scared.
Okay, and they look like tomatoes. They come in all the colours that tomatoes do.
And they look like tomatoes.
Yeah.
That's...
I like the tomato frogs.
I think they are cute, but I'm going to be honest, kind of all they got going for them.
What else? What would you call this frog?
I mean, why would I not call it tomat?
Yeah.
It's tomat. Look at that frog. It is tomat.
I'm tomat.
Yes, I am tomat.
Because I know that you get like yellow and orange ones as well. Like you can get yellow and orange tomatoes.
They can vary a little bit in colour. Yeah.
Yeah.
But generally they're like anywhere between yellow and red.
I would call one juice.
Juice frog. Yes. Do not juice.
I should not drink the tomato frog.
So I guess I will show you now what I've got up for us.
Okay, so now we're putting all the frogs in a tier list.
Yes, I have a tier list of frogs.
We should have added Loveland Frogman to the tier list. You're a gaming pair. Sorry for the aside, but did you see the casting for the new Super Mario movie? Yes,
What?
I did.
There's Super Mario movie?
There's an animated Super Mario movie. Jack Black voices Bowser, and Chris Pratt voices Mario.
Oh. Okay. That's interesting. We got Charlie Della as Luigi, and also Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Oh, we're gonna have Donkey Kong too.
Yeah.
What about Peach? That's well.
There are people who are saying that they wish it was Danny DeVito as Mario.
He doesn't have the right voice at all.
I think it's because the guy who's voicing Luigi is also one of the guys from Always Sunny.
Oh, I could see that. But no.
Yeah.
Why don't we call them out for not hiring Italians?
I'm trying to think who's like a famous Italian right now.
We got Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, this is a tangent. And now we're going to move on to the important thing. My tier list of frogs.
So what is the most based frog?
No, this is just a rating of frogs from best to least good.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Oh, Michael Key is Toad.
Oh, Keegan Michael
Toad,
Key is going to be Toad.
Fucking Toad is in the Mario movie.
Well, okay.
I mean, the first time I ever played Mario Kart on the DS, I really didn't like Toad for some reason. So I kind of just hate Toad.
I love Toad.
I don't know why I hate Toad.
Don't you love his screamy voice?
I just think because I've only ever played the Mario Kart and Mario Party games. I'm I don't know why. I just don't like this mushroom person.
I don't like this mushroom. But
Okay.
moving on.
Yeah.
Gonna rate frogs.
Okay, Jimmy. So what is the best? So the first one is the.
This is the African bullfrog first. Let's just we'll just stick him into the middle for just to show him. Yeah, he likes to scream. So yeah, this is the biggest frog in Africa. Very tough. The males are much bigger than the females.
Yeah. I mean, we've gone into all the frog facts, so
yeah. I'm just trying to remind you,
what makes him a good frog?
Well, I think they look really comfy.
Yeah.
And happy, and they're so chunky and big. Also, if
they're
you keep
a
one
burger size.
Yeah, if you keep one as a pet as well, they are known to be fairly tame.
Yeah.
So, I think everything is kind of good about them. The only thing I would say is that relative to other frogs, they're not particularly impressive in terms of the things they can do. The most impressive thing about them is just how much they can eat. So, yeah, I would put him into A.
He's only an A tier frog.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good frog. And then we compare to the American bullfrog, who I describe as being a very, very, very successful frog.
Yes.
Has spread across a lot of the world, become an invasive species there. Has these distinct calls. One of them is for starting fights.
It's the K-pop of frogs.
They sing as groups together.
Frog Boy Idol Band.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of them?
I like this frog. They're also in the Budweiser commercial.
The Budweiser commercial, true.
Yeah. They are very iconic frog.
They're pretty iconic. Also with the impressive tongue shooting mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the only thing I would say about them is that I think like it's one of those things where I'm like I look at them and go, they're just very objectively have a lot going for them.
Yeah.
But they don't look that interesting or cool as frogs go. And you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't really want one as a pet.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of like I can't deny their values, you know, but at the same time, I'm just kind of mad on them. So I feel like I have to put them into A.
Okay. They're only an A tier frog.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm not rating them on like how survivable they are or anything.
Yeah.
It's really just how much I like them.
How much you like the frog?
So Wednesday Frog goes into A because it looks really stupid and I love it.
Oh!
Yeah.
And they open their fucking mouths and they just scream.
I mean, they're also really screamy, and that just makes it even better. I am just.
This is what our new follower alert is, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we do have a. It is a bonky.
It is a budget frog.
A budget
It's
frog
inflating
is
itself.
screaming. Yeah. Yeah.
What is the next frog?
It's cane toad,
Oh god,
which I think is the most badass one on the entire list.
Yes, the
God,
death frog.
So fucking. It's such a brutal bastard. I feel like it's just it's deadly. It's invasive to fucking Australia. It had to be established as an illegal drug. I mean, I'm sorry, but it just has to go in S tier. Cane toads, they're fucking crazy things. The common frog.
Yeah,
I feel like they win some points for
being the classic frog.
They're the classic.
The English breakfast of frogs.
I guess so. Well, I think they're more like the beans and toast of frogs.
As well, the English breakfast tea of frogs. You know what I mean?
But I think the funniest thing about them is how they kick off their rivals when their rivals try to mate with the female they're on. I think they're okay. They go into B.
Okay, and the next one is?
The common toad.
Okay.
Which I think is it's pretty similar in my feelings about the common frog, but except it does the whole standing up on its hind legs thing.
Yeah.
And it has orgy balls. So, yeah. They're pretty funny. They're pretty cool. I like them. But I don't know. I'm like in between B and A for them.
Maybe a high B?
Yeah.
Like above the common frog.
Yeah. They're better than the common frog.
Okay. What about Pointy Face Boy?
Yeah, okay, so the thing about this one is the two things it's got going for it are interesting. Darwin's frog, it's got a pointy nose.
Yeah.
And the males develop their babies in their throat and then puke them out.
Yes.
That's amazing. But that's kind of it.
Okay.
They are otherwise pretty normal. They kind of like to camouflage themselves as leaves. It's pretty cool. I want to put them into sort of mid A.
Okay.
I quite like them. Yeah. The desert rain frog.
Okay.
Which is the fucking squeaky boy. Yeah. They're kind of cute, very cute. Probably the cutest frog.
Yes. What is the black rain frog that just looks perpetually grumpy?
It's just actually a variation of the same species.
Oh, okay, so it's another desert rain frog, just some of them are just completely black.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
those ones look even grumpier. So
there's different types of rain frog. This
Yeah.
is particularly the desert rain frog. I think that one's called just the black rain frog.
yeah.
But yeah, they do look grumpy. Those ones. But to be honest, that's true. These are possibly, somehow, the grumpiest looking frogs.
Yes.
Perhaps also because they're so small. I don't know. Being really cute and things definitely wins a lot of points. I feel like it might have to go in like low S tier.
Oh, okay.
They're really cute.
Yeah.
And they squeak.
There are people who think frogs aren't cute. Why do you think frogs aren't cute, people? They are so cute.
I love frogs. Obviously. Devil frog. Well, I mean, they ate dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And they were ridiculously big.
Yeah.
They're still like about 4 inches bigger than the biggest known frogs today.
Yes. Fucking beach ball sized frog.
I would love
Just imagine being a dinosaur and then watching your baby get eaten by a fucking frog.
I would love to have a pet devil frog, but they're extinct, obviously. But
How would
I think
you
it would be.
feed one of them though? Like if they existed today,
I would
and
be a
could
bit
kept as
concerned.
pets.
I would be a bit concerned about them trying to eat somebody's children or pets.
You'd need like a really big, like you'd probably need like an enclosed pond or something for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, gosh, how would you keep it?
But I like them a lot. Where would I put them? I feel like they've got to go somewhere else. Because they're just amazing. This giant. I think they go into S just behind Budget's frog. Yeah,
Okay.
I like them a lot. Goliath frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Goliath frog was interesting. I think kind of loses some points for not being able to speak.
Yeah.
The fact that it's got no vocal sac.
Can't scream at people
It's
and
kind of disappointing.
yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's really big. Very,
Yeah.
very strong frog. They're very good parents. It's cool. I don't know. Sort of like, I feel like despite being these really big frogs, they are a little disappointing for what they are.
Okay. That's just a big frog.
It's just kind of a big frog, yeah. So I'm actually inclined to put them into like high B.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh god, I forgot what this is called because it has a funny name. The Natterjack
Yes.
toad. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. When I researched this, I kind of thought with a name like that, it was going to be more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Most interesting thing about them is that they're very loud,
Yes.
and they got a yellow stripe on the back.
Mm-hmm. So they're loud, but they don't make boy bands like the American.
No, relatively individualistic. Yeah, I think this is actually a kind of pretty meh toad. Yeah. Yeah. Then Pac-Man frog.
Where does he go?
I love how they just fucking eat everything really fast,
Yeah.
and they're just so, like, possibly the hungriest frog I've come across.
They are a very pretty frog.
Hungry frog, and they are pretty, colourful and things, yeah. So they're pretty great. I would put them there.
Pretty A tier frog.
Yeah. Now this is the world's smallest frog.
Yeah, because like, the image of the poison dart frog looks like Spider-Man.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. But the world's smallest frog,
Yeah.
it's kind of meh.
Mm-hmm. It's just very tiny.
It breaks some records, but that's
Maybe
kind of
we
it.
just don't know much about them, so we don't know how cool they really are.
This is true, but with the information I have at the moment, I'm inclined to put them in like C or even D because the best thing about them is that they're really small.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of it. They're just really small. It's kind of similar to the Goliath frog.
The Goliath frog is just really big.
They're just really big, but at least they have a few other things going for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poison dart frogs. I like how they look, and they're fucking deadly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think generally I do prefer the kind of chunkier frogs. So yeah, I like them. I think they go the end of A tier.
Okay.
Yeah. The red-eyed tree frog. Now, this frog has got a unique look. Not really any other frog that looks like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just a cool look, isn't it? We have some unique abilities that no other frog has.
They're very iconic frogs.
Yeah, they're definitely very iconic. I think it definitely has got to win some points there. I think it goes sort of maybe even just about there. I'd say yeah, they're pretty good. And finally, it's tomato frog.
Tomato frog.
Okay, now I thought about it. I was wrong. Hold on.
Okay, so the tomato is a C tier frog.
The tomato frog, the only thing that's really interesting about it is that it looks like a tomato and is really cute.
Yeah.
But I think it is still better than the Natterjack toad or the world's smallest frog. So
where would the Loveland frogman go in this tier list if you had to put him in the tier list somewhere?
If I saw one, I would slap him in the face, grab him, and go, "You're coming with me, frogman."
Where would you put him on the tier list for frogs?
I don't know. I haven't actually seen one. I feel
Yeah.
like I need to see one and then study the behavior.
If you saw like a 4-foot humanoid frog, where would you put it on a frog tier list?
I don't know, Holly. I haven't seen one before.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to study them to have a good idea.
We need a holiday to Ohio to observe frogs.
Yeah. But that's my tier list, and that's my TED talk about frogs and toads.
Yeah. Hope you all enjoyed learning stuff.
Yeah.
We might do more just chattings with different ideas in future. We'll be back to our regular gaming streams tomorrow.
You got to learn about cryptids.
Cryptids, Jim can't spell.
And cryptids.
Yeah, we might do more like this. I mean, we are planning on just chatting at the end of the month to draw the subscriber raffle.
Yeah.
Which we did promote at the start of the stream. That's still on. What are the plans for the weekend streams?
I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do.
It was a really fun stream. Thanks, Bandit.
Thank you, Bandit. Yeah, it's good. We had a good time. I think we might stream on Saturday.
Yeah.
We doing anything? I think we are busy on Sunday.
Yeah. It's like I do want to do a big stream soon where I show my whole anime figurine collection.
Yes.
Something I've been waiting for finally arrived. But I may look at doing that next weekend.
Okay. We will try to fit it in then.
Yes. Because I really want to open this Nendoroid that I pre-ordered last year. Finally got here, like, literally a couple days ago.
So, Holly, anything else to say?
No. Thanks to everyone who tuned in for this. It's a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, does Jim want to find someone we could go raid?
Yeah. I suppose so, why not?
Okay.
How about
Thank you all for tuning in.
How about we raid Taran, who's playing Sekiro?
Yeah. Someone who's better than me at the FromSoft games.
Yeah. Taran. It seems like Taran is going through like all the FromSoft games, just thinking speedrun them.
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay, so thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back with some Pokemon tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll see you then.
See you then.
Oh, well, I'll put in the raid call. Alright. Okay then, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.